This is an example of creating a compound condition in Scratch rather than using a series of nested conditions to perform the same function. We started off with a program that asks the user for a number and determines if the number is between 50 and 100. It's a pretty trivial example, but it gets to the heart of the matter. So the first thing we do is we set up a variable and initialize it to 0. Then we ask the user for a number, and once they've entered a number, we store that number in a variable. Then we're going to go and check to see if that variable is greater than 50. And if it's not, we'll go down and tell them that you didn't meet the criteria. If it is, however, we go to the then and we'll check whether the variable is less than 100. And if it meets both of those criteria, it's going to say, hey, your number is greater than 50 and less than 100. However, we can do this more efficiently using a compound condition. Let's look at how that works. We started off with essentially the same framework as we had from the first example. The difference in this case, though, is we're going to use a compound condition. So rather than going through 2 steps here, we're going to combine those 2 steps into one. So we can use the AND condition here. And I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate each of these conditions that we had previously and drop them in. So now I've got one condition. It's going to check if my variable is greater than 50 and it is also less than 100, that's when we want to say that it meets the condition. So we're going to say, hey, your number you entered is greater than 50 and less than 100. However, in all other circumstances, it will say your number does not meet the criteria. So I'll break this for now, and let's go and see what happens when we run this program. If we enter in the number 5, it says you don't meet the criteria. If we enter in the number 55, it says your number is between 55 and 100, or between 50 and 100. And if we enter the number 105, it'll say your number does not meet the criteria. So this is a more efficient way of accomplishing the same task. However, there are times when it can make your logic more confusing. You just have to decide as you're working through which way is going to work best for you.